Ready? Yep. So I'm here talking with Drew. He's the Brewmaster and co-founder. Drew, thank you so much for having us out here today.
My pleasure.
So Drew, when we walked in, you were making a batch. Tell us what you were making today.
We are making a blonde ale today. So it's a very light, easy drinking, very close to a Pilsner style.
Awesome. So I asked Jenny, and I know that as a co-founder, you're not supposed to have a favorite. It's like your kids, right? But do you have a favorite beer?
See, that's the problem, is the favorites that I have tend to change with my mood, my settings, my time of day, and the time of year, weather. So if it's a very dark and stormy night, I typically like the big stouts. If it's a hot summer day, I like the blonde ales. If it's just an average day, I like something in the middle. So again, it varies. I'm not too easy to pin down in that respect.
Awesome. So today, Friday, nice day, it's evening. What are you drinking?
Right now I have our 2-Seam IPA going.
2-Seam IPA, and that's kind of your classic right now, right?
It has become one of our most popular styles. We brought it out actually for our 2nd anniversary, and it was so popular we decided to keep it. So it's going to be on tap pretty regularly now.
Awesome. So we're also looking at 2 casks right in front of us. Now, these are new ones. Can we talk about these yet?
Sure.
So what is in the casks over here? What are we going to expect?
So what we're trying to do is we're going to be souring some beer. What happens is, in typical beer fashion, we ferment with yeast, particularly brewer's yeast. When you sour a beer, you start to use lacto and pediococcus, which actually will create a sour flavor. So it's a very pervasive bug, if you will. So we like to not use it in our fermenters where we make all our other stuff. So we put them in barrels so that we can actually get those flavors into there without ruining the rest of our brewery.
So will these be kind of small batch brews?
They'll be very small batch, and they actually take quite a bit of time, all the way up to a year, maybe a year and a half. They're very slow fermenting yeast, so it takes a while for those to get the flavors that we're looking for. So we're always testing and making sure they're going in the right direction. And then once we feel that they're at the right point in time, we'll package them off and start to sell them.
Sure, wow. Well, so earlier I was talking to Jenny, and we were talking about, I love your triple IPA. It's so amazing. It's so flavorful without being overpowering. I had no idea it was a triple IPA. It's so delicious. And she said that once you guys are done, you're never making it again, right?
Yep. No, we have what we call our bullpen series, where we come out with new beers roughly every quarter, and this was our first quarter beer, and basically once it's gone, and we're gonna tell people to start looking forward to the next one that we're bringing out.
What's it like having to start from scratch with a totally new beer? You have to throw away your favorite, and now you're starting completely new.
It's fun, actually.
Yeah.
You can get in a rut when you're making the same beer every day. It would be like making the same dish for dinner every day. So we like making new things. We like to be creative. We like to get in there, get our hands dirty, and figure out something new. So it's actually kind of a treat for us.
That's awesome. So one thing I noticed is you guys on your website talk a lot about the different types of hops that you use. Mm-hmm. There's over 80 different kinds of hops. How do you pick a hop? How do you know how much hops to add in a new brew?
It's a lot of trial and error. We taste other people's beer. We talk to other brewers to see what they like to do. We've had experience with our own. We also can just get a sample of hops, and we put them in a little bit of warm water, kind of make a hop tea so we can see what kind of aromas we get out of it. You can crush it in your hands and smell it and kind of get a sense of what it's going to come out like. So any of those different things is kind of what we're searching for.
So Hermitage Brewery is right down the street. Do you guys ever run over and ask for a cup of hops, or do they come over here and ask, what's your relationship like having another brewer?
Exactly like that. Every brewer in this area is extremely friendly. We're all great friends. If something here breaks or we run out of something unexpectedly, we can go over to those guys and say, hey, can we borrow something? And vice versa. It happens all the time. So that's the beauty of the brewing industry, is brewers are very friendly people, and we all love to help each other out because we know in the future it's going to pay forward.
That's awesome. So you guys also talk about how you started and how you were pretty much 3 friends who all had a passion for sports and a passion for brew. Mm-hmm. How did you learn how to run all this? So you started in a kitchen, and now you have this amazing the brewery that you run.
Well, again, it goes back to kind of the friendliness of the brewing industry. You know, I learned a lot from books and from home brewing, but stepping it up to this size system is definitely a huge leap. So a good friend of mine, Steve Donahue, who was at the Firehouse in Sunnyvale at the time, I learned so much from him. He was kind of my mentor and has taught me infinitely, you know, more than I could have ever learned just from books. You know, it's a lot of common sense, but also a lot of just being in the industry for a while things. So I learned a lot from him, and then just any other brewer that I can pick their brains on. Brewers are very open about knowledge that they have. If you like something about their beer, you can ask them how they did it, and they're more than welcome to share it.
Sure. I was telling Jenny I never met a brewer who wasn't happy. Why is that?
Do I even have to answer that? I mean, look at the product that we make.
Look at my glass. You don't have to answer that.
Yeah, it's a pretty self-evident thing. You know, it's, you know, we see the fruits of our labor and taste the fruits of our labor every day. I mean, you know, even though we're in a very industrial industry, we still like to go back and quote Office Space. You know, what do I see out of an extra sale or something? Here, the work we put into it, we can go over to the bar and see the work that we put into it and taste it. So it's that's why we're always happy about it.
Right. And you guys do so much in the community. You know, you have all kinds of events come here, all kinds of different sporting groups that you guys work with. What do you think has been your favorite event in the past year or so?
Favorite event? I mean, it was for a good cause, but I was very sad that we actually had to do it. But last weekend we had a benefit for the flood victims here in San Jose, and we had a great turnout. We were very happy that people came out. We had a silent auction. Radio station K-Fox was here broadcasting. So we were very happy with the support of the community and the amount of people that came out. It was very sad that we had to actually do it, but I was very proud of San Jose and the amount of support that they showed for that.
That's awesome. Let me adjust your microphone real quick. Sorry.
No worries.
There we go. We're good. So what are you looking forward to? I know you guys are talking about possibly expanding, maybe moving a little bit. What's coming up in the future with Strike Brewing?
We're just expanding as much as we can, you know, with what we've got. Again, the sour beers are extremely exciting for us, and just coming up with new recipes and just being as creative as we possibly can is
awesome.
Kind of what we're looking forward to.
If someone were visiting Strike for the first time and they were watching you while you're working here, they're sitting over there having a beer, what's something you would want somebody to know that they wouldn't normally know?
Oh, goodness. Hey, that's a really on-the-spot question. I mean, I just want people to know about beer, good beer, how it's made. You know, we're more than happy to give people tours and teach them as much as they don't know about the process of making beer, because it's so much more enjoyable to taste a product knowing how it's done, seeing how it's done. So, you know, it's not the same answer for every person, but I like them to ask me questions and say, you know, I don't know how this is done or why this happens. Explain it to me, and I want them to know that. So it makes their experience more enjoyable.
Yeah. So funny question, 80 different types of hops that go into beer. If I handed you 2 different hops, do you think you'd be able to tell the difference?
Ooh, that's tough. There are some definitely very distinctive hops that I could probably guess. The whole gamut, no. I wish I could, but, and even year to year, crops change. You know, me and my brewers were sitting down today talking about that because, you know, we're going to be using some Citra hops that we just got a batch in, and, you know, what we're used to from last year's crop could be much different than this year, so they all change.
Awesome. Well, Drew, thank you so much for sitting down with us and telling us about beer. Cheers.
Yeah.